Are you looking for a job opportunity and you want to know about the techniques how you can modify your CV or modulate your CV so that it can catch upon the eyes of the recruiter who is going to recruit you for the desired position? Are you looking for a job opportunity and you want to increase the chances of getting a job or getting your application sorted based on the CV that you are giving? So here I will be talking about top 10 techniques, top 10 booster tips that will help you to modify your CV in such a way that your application will get shortlisted in just one go. Your application will catch the eyes of the recruiter and your application won't be rejected, as there are thousands of applications coming and yours would not be among them. So for that, there are some tips and techniques that you have to follow so that you can modulate your CV in that sort, and then only you will be able to apply for the jobs and get your application accepted. So hello everyone, myself Diksha Shandel from Biotech, and today we shall be talking about some booster tips, top 10 CV booster tips. How, if you are a biotech fresher or if you are a biotech graduate or you are looking for job opportunities in the field of biotechnology, be it in an industrial firm or a research position, this 10 top tips will help you in giving you some glance, some idea how you can boost up your CV, how you can make your resume more attractive so that it can catch the eyes of the recruiter. So let's get started with the video, and I shall be talking about 10 pointers here. I shall be listing 10 pointers, and then we shall be starting with the first one. So the first one is make it precise. So the most guru mantra that people follow is to make a CV precise. The people who are successful in their career, who have got the desired position, who have bagged the position in one go. So you will see them, you will see their CV, you will find that their CV are very much organized and precise. So always try to make your CV precise as well as short, and don't try to put elaborated things. Don't try to put your CV 5 pages, 6 pages long just because you have a lot of experience, lot of educational qualifications, lot of certifications. Don't do that. Only put the relevant things and make it very much precise. So making it precise states that it should be short, then it should be maximum of 1 or 2 pages. It should not exceed 1 or 2 pages, maximum of 2 pages. If it is 1 page, well and good. Start with the introduction with the photograph. So mostly people don't mention their photograph. So if you're mentioning your photograph, it's not like a sort of you have to mention any fancy photograph. It's just that you have to start with an introduction by mentioning your photograph because you want to apply for a position. So your identity is important. So for that identity, you should mention the photograph and you should mention the details properly. Then subdivide the information. Let's say you're starting with the qualification. So mention a head topic, educational qualification. Then come to the work experience. Then come to the technical skills. Then come to skills and accomplishment. Then come to awards and honors, certifications, hobbies. So make a title and then subdivide the topics, and then only you will be able to sort in such a way that the recruiter will see your CV and they will ideally look about the work experience, let's say. So they will directly look about the work experience. They don't have to see everything in the CV, and they will feel that where is the work experience, where is the educational qualification. So if you are mentioning it in the title separately with bold, so they will be able to see and they will be exactly able to catch the idea of what they want to see. If suppose that they want to see your certifications, they will directly see, okay, certifications, here are the certificates. So mostly one of the reason of the rejection of applications are also that they don't put any subheadings, they don't put any bold titles, and because of that the recruiter will find it confusing to find the certifications or work experience, and then they will ultimately reject because they will find it irritating to find those experiences. So subdivide the information and put always in the title in a bold letter. Okay, so this is about making your CV precise. Now the next point that is important is mention relevant information. Okay, so your CV is a professional achievement. Your CV is a professional way for you to get a job opportunity that you are looking for so long. You have studied so far for getting any job, and what if their CV is not that alluring, your CV is not that interesting, and you fail to get that job just because of your CV. So you should always mention the relevant information. You should not brag unnecessary information. Never do that. So mention only relevant information, and that means that the introduction should be clearly mentioned. It means that you should mention the name properly. It should be not in a fancy letter. It should be clear. mention name properly, put address, but not like long address how you used to put in the speed post when you speed post your letter or something. Put a normal like okay address, that is usually like okay, I stay here, the address, then state, then your pin code, that is it, not like elaborated address, son of, or like care of. Don't put these things. Put address and then add email. Most important thing, even if you forget to put address, it's okay, you should mention 2 3 things very clearly. First, your name. Second, if you're working somewhere, that address, the working somewhere, not your like permanent address, working somewhere, then the address is okay. Email is very much important. Phone number is very much important. Name, email, phone number comes at the priority. Then the place where you're working, if you're working somewhere, put that address. Don't put your permanent address where you belong, no, just put your recent address, corresponding address, and then add the contact number and other contact details. Now, other contact details doesn't mean that you have to add your Instagram or Facebook. It means that you have to add your LinkedIn, or you can add any sort of professional like email or professional contact details that you have. So put that contact details. So this is about the introduction. Introduction should only contain these things and not anything else than that. And then we're done with the introduction. Now comes the body. For the body, educational qualification, then work experience, skills and accomplishment, honors and awards, certificates and internship. So the synchrony should be in such a way that you're starting with the educational qualification, the basic one, from where you have done your bachelor's, master's, or any diploma or course, something. Work experience, if you have done any thesis, if you have done any dissertation, if you have done any like long summer training, put that. Skills and accomplishment, if you have like your technical skills, what all technical skills you know. Then accomplishment, what all like desired result that you have got. Honors and award, it should mention about the medals, about the positions, about the tags, about the awards that you have got. Certificates and internship, if you have done any course, if you have done any internship, you should mention in such way. So the body should clearly emphasize these headlines. Okay, so this is about the body. Now coming to the end part. So how you should end your CV. So your CV should also like always end with the non-necessary part, like the hobbies and extracurricular activities, but then also it should not be irrelevant. It should be only relevant to the position desired. Hobby, you don't put listening to music and dancing. These hobbies are not required for the CV. If you have any hobby like scientific writing, if you have performed any scientific writing, if your hobby is like post, so you could put like those kind of hobbies. And extracurricular activities also, like if you have attended any national conferences, if you have attended any poster competition, you have won that, if you have attended any scientific like seminars, or like any kind of places where you showed your model. So those kind of like extracurricular activities, like you prepared any model or something, you can, or always like in a reservation how it happens. So like you can put these like extracurricular activities of that sort. Okay, so this is about the end. Now, the next point is avoid detailed introduction. Now, even if you are mentioning everything, avoid putting detail of that, because detail will take a lot of page and your CV will end up getting into 3-4 pages. So avoid detailed introduction. Only put the relevant introduction. And if you feel that something is very much detailed, try to make it precise first and then come to your CV and put it in the CV. Okay, that means don't write paragraphs. Hello everyone, myself Diksha, I have completed my masters from here, bachelor's from here, I was very much enthusiastic about science. Don't like that. No, okay, don't put like that. Don't write paragraphs about your experience, about your knowledge, about yourself. Okay, avoid mentioning too much. I'm really passionate about this research. If I do, I will produce something novel, and if I get an opportunity, I will give this much of impact factor paper. This kind of too much detailing and exaggeration is not required. Don't put unnecessary commitments. Now, unnecessary commitment like this, if I tend to work here, like if I didn't get any opportunity to work in the field of research or pharma, like because you have to show now where you want to work. So you're looking for this many job opportunities. If I get any work, I will become the CEO of this, I will become like this level of scientist, I'll produce some something novel, my impact factor will be this high, I'm very much sure about that. Don't put unnecessary commitment, I will definitely produce something which is very novel. No, don't put unnecessary commitment. It should just be that you wanted this opportunity because you are interested, hardworking, and keen to learn about it. This is the only thing that is required. Even the recruiters only want these kind of characters in the student, okay, especially for the freshers. Don't put unnecessary commitments. These three things are very much important, and this is the one of the main reason why these, like, many of the CVs got rejected, because people see that this is exaggeration, like falsehood, and they feel that the candidate is too much exaggerating his own skills, and then he won't be able to perform. He is just exaggerating the falsehood. So avoid detailed introduction and avoid mentioning false information or as well as false commitments. Okay, now we are coming to the next part, and that is elaborate scientific experience. Now, elaborating scientific experience, here I have mentioned a lot of detail. Since you want to get job in research sector, industrial firm, you are a science graduate, you are a biotech graduate, you should elaborate scientific experience, okay? And what does that mean? This is relevant to your profile, to your candidature, to the job that you are looking for. So always elaborate your scientific experience. Add the institution and labs. Okay, so if you have worked for any internship, if you have worked for any coursework, thesis, work for any project, work anywhere in the lab as a trainee, intern, firstly mention the institution or lab name, okay? Mention the project that you have worked, okay? Then mention the PI's name and designation, very much important, because you have to give the credit to the PI under whose supervision that you have worked. This is important, okay? Then elaborate the hypothesis and conclusion. What was the rationale and hypothesis of the work, and what conclusion that you have derived? Only in 2-3 lines. Don't try to make it elaborate. The only part that you have to elaborate is scientific experience, but in that also don't try to elaborate hypothesis and conclusion, because your thesis will be having lots of hypothesis and conclusion in 3-4 pages. So elaborate the hypothesis and conclusion in such a way that it should fit in the CV, and it should not exceed the whole CV, like a range of 1 or 2 pages. Mention the techniques performed. If you have done any special techniques during the project that is relevant to any position, relevant to any research work, always mention the techniques that you have performed for the particular project. So these things are very much necessary if you are elaborating any scientific experience. So do have a look over this, okay? Now, we're coming to the 5th part, that is don't exaggerate. Now, I have mentioned here also avoid detailed information. Here also I'm mentioning don't exaggerate. Now, see, don't put overachieving statements. Now, what does that mean? I have achieved this many things, I have achieved this many medals, I have got this many positions in my university, I was the coordinator of this post. These kind of information. Don't put overachieving statement that make them show maybe you're not suitable, maybe you will get a better position than this. So don't put overachieving statement, because they will always feel that if you are so much of overachieving, why you are applying for this job? So they will always have that underconfidence in their mind. So don't put overachieving statements, because they might turn it like you are speaking wrong or you are speaking false. Another point is don't give wrong information. Now, just because you want that candidature to be accepted, just because you want any position to be hired immediately, you are putting unnecessary or wrong information. You are putting any wrong information that you have done your internship from IIT if you have not done any internship, you have got the certificate if you have not got any certificate. So if you put these wrong information in the CV, maybe later you will be in very big trouble, because later if they cross check or if they ask for proof or documentation, then your candidature, not only your candidature will be declined, but also your reputation will be over. So don't give wrong information. Another, don't brag unnecessary commitment. The same thing I have mentioned. Don't brag unnecessary commitment. That if I will be hired, I will do this, I will produce something novel, I produce this many of papers. Don't give unnecessary commitment. This is very wrong. And science never means that you should be giving unnecessary commitment or falsehood. You are speaking science, you are doing science, you should be very much precise about the science what you are performing, and your mind should be responsible rather than bragging unnecessary commitment, okay? So don't exaggerate, never do that. Now we are coming to the 6th point, and the 6th point is mention the techniques exposed. Okay, mention the techniques exposed anywhere. If you are mentioning your skills and accomplishment, even if you have not done any like internship, or if you have not done any project, mention the technique exposed. All the technique that you have done during your bachelor's or master's, do that. Like the biochemical techniques related to microbiology techniques, immunological techniques, any bioinformatics techniques, any instrument handling that you have done, like flow cytometry, mass spectrometry, any of the techniques that you know, please mention that. That is relevant for your candidature, relevant for the position wherever you go. Okay, now emphasize your achievements. Okay, your achievements will speak. Your achievements should speak, not your like blabbering. You shouldn't blabber. You should always like make a way to speak through your achievements, because your achievements are the proof that you are worthy enough for the position. So that you have to always mention your results achieved, if data any generated, but it should be precise, 1-2 lines. Positions, if you have got any positions, if you have been a member of any scientific society at your college, if you have been a member of any committee, if you have been member of any editorial committee for the scientific writing, anything position that you have got, if you have got university second rank, first rank positions you have got, you can always mention. Certifications and award, like I mentioned, you can mention. Internships, always mention. Medals or tags, that means that if any medal or tag that you have got relevant, like gold medal, silver medal, any like medal relevant for the position, like for the like debate competition, or for scientific writing, or for any like position, like any work that is relevant for the like required position that you're applying, only like mention those medals. Not like I have first like in singing, first in dancing. These are also very good extracurricular activities, I'm not saying that, but since your like the topic is to boost your CV, if you are working as want to work as a biotech graduate, if you're a biotech graduate and you want to work in the field of biotechnology, I'm just emphasizing those kind of like skills. If you want to work in some other domain, then emphasize in that order. So the relevance should be according to the subject generated. Okay, now the 8th point is check for grammar, very much important. Checking for grammar, that what does it mean? Punctuations, when there is a question mark, when there is a mark of exclamation, when there is a period, you should mention the punctuations very clearly. When there is a colon, when there is a semicolon, so when there is a slash, when there is a dash. Conjunctions, and, or, between, like these kind of conjunctions, like as well as when you have to mention, don't put a like just because you're making a sentence or you're not writing like an English paragraph. So conjunctions are also very much important. Spelling mistake, always do check for the spelling mistake. Typo is like it can be like neglected, especially if you are giving any presentation or if you're working on a computer. Typo is neglected because like mostly the auto corrections, or mostly when you are like typing, you are like you won't be able to recognize everything. But if you're printing something, if it is your CV, it's something, it's like your personal hold, professional hold also. So your spelling mistake should always be taken care of. You shouldn't be doing any spelling mistake, because once it gets printed, it will be difficult for you to revise those spelling mistakes. Okay, so always take care for the spelling mistakes, and always about the grammatical error also. He, she, we are putting it as, will, are, is, was, were. So grammatical errors, like usually these grammatical error happens. Grammars, ands, like people will like add too many of SSS together. Techniques, like and then they will say like for example, let's say like you are giving an example, grammatical error, you are mentioning biotech's careers, like kind of this kind of mistake people do. Putting ss all the time, putting was instead of were, putting were instead of was, putting in is instead of are instead of is, he instead of she instead of he. This kind of grammatical error should be always avoided. Putting it always times instead of he or she. So grammatical error should be avoided. So these are the like some of the common mistakes that always happen when there is a when there like people get CV, and these are the like criteria based on which also like there is a higher chance of your CV getting rejected. So do care about these things also. Okay, these are the grammatical parameters. Now coming about avoid adding hobbies. Now that what does it mean? Don't brag unnecessary hobbies, that you like guitar playing, you like trekking, you like to go to visit mountains, you like beaches. These hobbies are not necessary for your qualification. Put hobbies relevant to the CV, only those hobbies. Scientific writing, okay, relevant to the CV, any CV that you want for biotech career. So any CV, like any hobbies related to your biotech career only, like scientific writing, poster making, model presentation, those kind of hobbies. Okay, don't put details. Now for your hobbies also, you don't have to put details about your hobbies, how you started liking the hobby, how it ultimately went off, what you are like your current position of the hobby. Don't mention these things. Okay, just mention about the precise hobby that you are doing. That's it. The hobbies that are there, that's it. Don't put unnecessary like detail of the hobby. Now the last point is presentation is important. Now you have concluded everything, you have concluded all the part, you have made it precise, you have added relevant information, you have like neglected the exaggeration, you have mentioned the techniques, achievements, you have checked the grammar, you have avoided hobbies, your pattern is very good. Now presentation is important, how you arrange those details in that 1 or 2 pages, very much important. So the organization is important. If you will not organize it well, even if you have put everything relevant, then only there are chances of your CV of getting rejected. So presentation is important. It should be very much eye-catching. Okay, so that means that search for good templates. Okay, search for good templates. It should not be fancy templates, flowers and everything. No, good templates, good sober templates that are okay for any official or professional thing. Search for good templates. Consider design and format. Okay, design and format is very much necessary. How you are designing your CV, where should be the photograph, where should be the details, where should be the educational, where should be the like details of like any skills or accomplishment, how it should end. The design and format is necessary. Arrange accordingly. So your arrangement should be according to the design and format and template you have selected. Okay, it should not be arranged in a misorganized way. Okay, it should be arranged accordingly, and you should maintain the synchrony, especially if you have arranged everything. You're starting with the educational qualification, then going to experience, then going to accomplishment, skills, honors and rewards, hobbies, extracurricular activities. You ended. Okay, but the synchrony is maintained. It should be maintained. That means you should start with your recent qualification should be the topmost, then the last one, then the last one. So it should be that you are starting with the least qualification and you're ending with the most like recent qualification. So if you're putting educational qualification, you are a postgraduate. Educational qualifications, first of all mention masters, then bachelor's, then anything else, then any diploma if you've done after 12th or anything else. First put master. So your recent qualification should be at the top. Okay, so you should maintain the synchrony similar to the work experience. Your recent work experience should be at the top, then the previous one, then the previous one. So the presentation is always important. Okay, so guys, these were the 10 booster tips for boosting your CV, especially you're looking for any job opportunities. I hope you can see this page. I just put it here. Yeah, so make it precise, mention relevant information, avoid detailed introduction, elaborate scientific experience, don't exaggerate, mention the techniques exposed, emphasize achievements, check for grammar, avoid adding unnecessary hobbies, and the presentation is important. So these were the top 10 CV booster tips. If you need any requirement about anything about the pointer, you want to know detail, please mention in the comment box below. Here I listed 10 pointers related to how you can boost your CV, how you can make a better resume if you are looking for any job opportunities in the field of biotech sector. If you are a fresher or even if you are an experienced person, it's okay. So if you have any doubt, anything, please mention in the comment box below. I'll be really enthusiastic to help you always. Thank you so much for watching this video.